That means how the DNA replicate and make new copy of its own, so that that copy should be entered into the offspring through gametes. So this phenomena is known as replication. Formation of new copy of DNA is known as replication. And this scheme of DNA replication was given just after the double helical model given by the Watson and Crick in 1953. They had given the scheme of replication. That means DNA itself giving rise to the new DNA. And how it is giving rise to? We are knowing that two strands are there in DNA. So both of these strands will open, and one will act as a template, and it will form the new DNA strand, complementary strand. That means one strand is the previous one, which will act as the template and which will form its complementary strand, and other strand will also act as the template one and form the new complementary strand. In this way, from one DNA, two DNAs will form. And this mode of synthesis or replication is known as semi-conservative mode of replication, because here we can see that one strand is the previous one and one is newly formed. That's why it is known as semi-conservative mode of replication. To explain the proof is there, one experimental proof is there to explain that this phenomena, the replication is of semi-conservative mode. The experiment is done by Messelson and Franklin et al. In 1958 on the bacteria E. coli, that is Escherichia coli. For this he had done some preparation, then experiment, then observation, and then conclusion. During the preparation, they grown the E. coli on the medium, that medium, culture medium, having the heavy nitrogen. The density was heavy, and that was the N15. And till that time, the bacteria was allowed to replicate there. Till that, the both of the strand becomes N15 type of nitrogen. The heavy nitrogen is present in both the strand. Till that time, this was allowed to replicate there, and this heavy nitrogen can be separated by the centrifugation process on the medium containing cesium chloride, CaCl2, for testing or for observing or making conclusion. Now, during experiment, they have transferred that nitrogen with the heavy DNA with the heavy nitrogen on the medium, that medium containing the light nitrogen, that is NH4Cl, having the N14 type of medium. And here this E. coli was allowed to replicate. After replication, that was extracted by the process of centrifugation, and then their density was measured to make some conclusion. For that was allowed for the first generation of replication, that is after 20 minutes it was observed the DNA was having the hybrid DNA. That means one strand was heavy nitrogen N15 and other strand with the, you can see here, N14, that is light nitrogen. That's why it is known as hybrid DNA. And then after the second generation, that is after 40 minutes, they found that 50% of DNA was hybrid and 50% was light DNA. That means 50% DNA having one strand N14 and one strand N15, and 50% have light DNA. That means both the strands having the N14 type of DNA. So it is known as light DNA. And on this basis, they have concluded that the process of replication is semi-conservative type. Such type of experiment was again done by other scientists also. Taylor and his colleagues in 1958, they done their experiment of the plant on the plant Vicia faba by using the radioactive thymidine, and they also found the same result. That means the replication is of semi-conservative mode. In this way, we can say that the replication occurs in semi-conservative mode, not conservative mode, or not new mode. Now semi-conservative, all you know, one strand will be the older strand that is coming from the parent, and other will be newly synthesized, and here the parental strand will act as a template or guide to make the complementary strand, and in this way the DNA replication completes. That will study through, they will learn, explain through the diagram.
This slide is showing the semi-conservative mode of replication of DNA. There may be three possibilities of replication of DNA. It may be conservative or semi-conservative or distributive. If it is conservative, then the new DNA like this, that is, they are totally like their parental one, and if it is semi-conservative, then one strand like parental one and one strand will be newly formed. Or if it is distributive, then 50-50, that is the this type of structure may be there. But during this Watson and Crick proposed his double helical structure of DNA, and they told that both the strands of DNA are complementary in nature regarding base pairing and other things. So during the replication process, they unwind, both the strands unwind, one strand act as the template, help or a guide, and other strand will be formed upon that, and that is known as complementary strand. So in this way the replication occurs, and the mechanism of DNA replication, we can say this is semi-conservative mode. For that, one experiment is there. Michelson and Stahl has performed an experiment that we'll see now. In this slide we can see the semi-conservative mode of DNA replication. For this, one experiment was done by Michelson and Stahl, and they took the medium that is containing heavy nitrogen NH4Cl. In this, the bacteria E. coli was allowed for the growth. After growth, they found that after extraction, DNA have both the strands which having N15, that is heavy nitrogen, and then they took this DNA after extraction and allowed for the further replication. For that, now this time the medium was with the normal nitrogen, that is N14. NH4Cl is there to grow for this DNA replication, but the nitrogen is N14 type. Now after the first generation, the two DNA were formed, two daughter DNA from this parental DNA. Now both of these DNA, one of the strand is of parent type, that is N15 type, and other one is N14 type, that is new type. In both the case, that is known as hybrid DNA. Now when these two DNAs were allowed further for the next replication, that is second generation, then at the end of the second generation, the result was that one of the DNA with one is heavy nitrogen, one is with this low density nitrogen, that is N14. Here both the strands with N14 type, here also both the strands with N14, and here one strand N15 and one strand N14. So we can see that every time one of the strand is coming from the parent side, that is the older one, and one is newly synthesized, complementary strand is newly synthesized, and in this way one of the strand is older one and one is new one. That's why it is known as semi-conservative mode of replication. In this way it was proved that the conservation is the replication is semi-conservative mode, not conservative mode or dispersive mode. This slide is also showing the semi-conservative mode of DNA replication. We can see here the parental DNA, this is the parental DNA, and after first generation these two DNA, one strand is like parental one and one is newly formed. Here also after second generation we can see this is N15 type, this one the light one red colored, and this is blue is the nitrogen 15, and after F3 generation. So this figure proves that DNA replication occurs in semi-conservative mode, not conservative mode, or dispersive mode.
We have studied about DNA replication mode, that is, it is of semi-conservative mode through the Michelson and Stahl experiment done in 1958. Now Taylor and some others also done this experiment on PCF-Farber, and all of them have concluded that the DNA replication occurs through the mode that is known as semi-conservative mode. One template is from the parent, and that is known as template. One strand of DNA is coming from the parental one, and other is synthesized over that by the help of the template strand, and that is complementary. In this way, from one DNA, two DNA are forming. So one DNA, parental DNA, will give rise to two daughter DNA, and this is known as DNA replication. Now we will study about the process of DNA replication. So first of all, we have to discuss about what are the machineries which are helping in the process of DNA replication. So DNA replication machinery includes some enzymes as well as protein. Enzymes are gyrase enzyme. First of all, as we know that DNA is double helical structure. So first of all, the DNA helix should open it, and for opening the helix, that is known as unwinding of DNA, and that is done by the enzyme, that is gyrase. You can see here the gyrase enzyme will open the helix, and that is known as unwinding of the DNA helix, and this is done by gyrase enzyme, and it will give rise to Y fork or replication fork. It will appear like this. Now the second enzyme which is helping here, that is ligase enzyme, which is for joining the fragments of small DNA, and then DNA dependent DNA polymerase enzyme, which is responsible for catalyzing the to catalyze the polymerization of very big number of nucleotides, and in this way it will give rise to the polynucleotide chain for the DNA replication. And at the same time, when the gyrase will unwind the DNA helix, then one protein, that is SSBP or single stranded DNA binding protein, will attach here, so that it will prevent the recoiling, and then after all these things, then the DNA replication will start. Now the process of DNA replication. Now we can see this Y fork or the replication fork will appear like this. This is one strand, this is other strand. The strand with the polarity 3 to 5 direction is known as template, and the other one, that is 5 to 3 direction, is known as the coding strand. Now here it is on the, because we know that this DNA dependent DNA polymerase enzyme catalyze the reaction or polymerization in only single direction, that is 5 to 3 direction. So it will on the both strand, it will not in a continuous manner. That's why on this strand 5 to 3 direction, this is known as leading strand, on which the enzyme will catalyze the continuous polymerization. And here we can see here this is known as leading strand, on which the continuous polymerization takes place of the polynucleotide chain. The other one, because it is working in a single direction, that's why the other one, that is 3 to 5 direction, this is known as lagging strand, and here the RNA primer will be formed, and then the Okazaki, the small primers RNA fragment will be formed, and later on they will be joined. These fragments are known as RNA primer or Okazaki fragments, because the scientist who have discovered or explained about this was named as, his name was Okazaki, that's why. And in this way, on the both the strands, the polymerization will take place, and both the strand having its complementary strand. In this way, from one DNA, two DNA will be formed. Now, suppose what is the, when it occurs? The DNA replication occurs in the S phase of cell cycle, and if suppose DNA replication takes place and no cell division takes place, then it will result in the polyploidy, and that will be the chromosomal abnormality.
This slide is showing different types of enzymes which are helping in the process of DNA replication, which is necessary for that purpose. Helicase enzyme is unwinding the DNA helix, then primase is synthesizing the RNA primer, DNA polymerase 3 is adding the bases to the new DNA chain to make its long chain, and it is for proofreading the chain for mistakes if any mistake is there in adding of the nucleotides, that is the nitrogenous bases. Now RNA polymerase 1 removing RNA primer and replacing the gap between Okazaki fragments to make a long chain of this polynucleotides. Then ligase enzyme is helping in binding the nicks in DNA during synthesis and repair. So for joining, this ligase is required. Gyrase is responsible for supercoiling of DNA. Beside that one protein is also there known as SSBP protein, that is also required for the unwinding of DNA and to stabilizing it. We can see in this slide the process of DNA replication, that is the DNA will unwind, both the strands will unwind with the help of the enzymes, and then both the strand, the old strand, that is parental strand, will act as a template or guide, and it will form the new complementary DNA strand. In this way, from one parental DNA, two DNA will form or replicate. After replication, we will get two daughter DNA molecule. Now this is the DNA Y-shaped fork. You can see these are the two strands which are complementary in nature, and this fork, this is one strand and this is other strand. This strand is known as leading strand because on this the DNA polymerase enzyme catalyze the formation of the complementary strand in continuous manner, and this is leading strand. And this is the lagging strand where first the RNA primer is formed, then Okazaki fragment, that is small RNA primers are known as Okazaki fragments, and then later on all these were joined with the help of the enzyme DNA ligase. And because the DNA polymerase enzyme can catalyze only in a single direction, that's why here continuous and here it is in the small fragments, and later on it will be joined. In this way, at the end, both these template strand will form its own complementary strand, and finally from one parental DNA, two daughter DNAs are formed.